The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and this week I'm so happy to be joined by a man. We call him the Ivan Drago of film reviewers. His name is Jeff Robbins.
Hey, how you doing, Jameson?
I'm doing very good. I'm doing well.
How do you feel about that disclaimer coming out at the beginning of your show?
I think it's very important to have.
It's almost
very
like,
controversial.
It's like we're saying the city administrator wants nothing to do with your opinion of Marry Me.
He's told me that.
He has his own take on that
Yes,
film.
he has come out and said that on his show multiple times. So
Yes.
nothing to do with this. So this week we're here to talk about some movies.
Sorry about my hair, by the way.
Sorry about mine.
I need a trim.
This past weekend was Valentine's Day weekend, and so it is a time for lovers and a time for rom-coms, and thus why I'm joined by this guy to talk about a bunch of...
Keep your hands above the table.
Yeah, please. But first, we're going to get started with our first murder mystery, and on our On the Marquee segment, I'm going to get us started with the newest film from Kenneth Branagh. It is Death on the Nile, directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring him as well. This is based on the Agatha Christie murder mystery novel and is a sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, which we got a few years ago. This film, we open up, we get to see a bit of the origins of Hercule Poirot and what makes him tick and what makes him the great mind that he is. And it's much like Murder on the Orient Express. It's another group of stars in an exotic setting. We have Gal Gadot plays Lynette Ridgway. She is a wealthy, beautiful woman who has betrayed her best friend Jackie, played by Emma Mackey. And she has stolen her man. She is going to marry her best friend's boyfriend, Simon Doyle, played by Armie Hammer, a little problematic, who seemingly has little to offer to the rich and beautiful Lynette. But they throw a lavish honeymoon celebration out on the Nile. They invite an awkward grouping of friends, family, former lovers, as well as Hercule Poirot, of course. But they do not invite Jackie, who keeps showing up like a ghost from their past. This unnerves the new couple, as they believe that she has bad intentions towards them. Adding to all this is Lynette's admission that nearly everybody that's been invited has a reason to despise her and have bad intentions towards the couple as well. And so this film and the mystery really kind of gets going as they board a cruise ship aboard the Nile, and suddenly people start dying. And one murder begets another murder, and will the world-renowned Hercule Poirot solve these mysteries in time before everyone is murdered? And that's what we're here to find out. And we also meet his friend Book, who is played by Tom Bateman. He's an old friend of Poirot's. Feels like Poirot is a mentor to him.
I pronounce it Book.
Oh, Book, yes, Book. And Book's mother, played by Annette Bening.
Sure.
As well as a whole Russell Brand, awkwardly cast as like a deep-thinking doctor.
Kind of unrecognizable, actually.
Kind of, yeah. And it's your classic murder mystery, a whodunit out on the Nile.
Yeah.
First off, did you like the setting of this? I think that's kind of one of the big things with these films is the setting is. I mean, it's in the titles of all of the Orient Express, the Nile. You like that? Did it look right to you?
Did I like the setting in Egypt, or did I like the setting on the boat?
Egypt.
I thought the movie was really interestingly shot and had a lot of beautiful settings, but once the action was constrained to the boat, I thought that Mr. Branagh had limited things that he could do with his camera, to the point that like every conversation the camera is just swirling and swirling and swirling, and it's like, okay, I mean, you're trying to dress this up as much as possible, but I thought the movie was really well shot.
Okay.
And interesting to look at.
Yeah. You like Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot?
No, I thought
you don't.
No, I think it verges on self-parody.
I agree on that. I think he's real close. I think he's real close to making it really campy.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I guess what you're stopping talking, so I guess that means you want me to step
Go
in
ahead.
and fill the gap. So
Chat.
I'll do
Chat
that.
with me.
I really kind of thought that this movie was for people that find Murder, She Wrote reruns to be too exciting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I just don't know who this movie is really aimed at. I mean, really, it's probably aimed at somebody my age because I'm too young to be familiar with the '78 version of this film, I believe, is when with Peter Ustinov as Hercule Poirot. So I'm not familiar with that movie at all. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No, I haven't.
And this movie definitely has sort of a, it's got an old-timey quality to it. It's obviously set in like the late 30s.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, glitz and glamour
And it feels like one of those old-time movies where you get the big cast of actors together.
But the problem for me, Mr. Rabbit, is that there's a scene where I think Bouc is talking to Poirot, and he's telling very quickly about the connections of all these guests and how he knows everybody. And for a movie that has really, in my mind, so much dead air and so much dead time in the film, so little going on, to throw all that exposition out in such a short scene, I found sort of an odd choice. I really didn't understand, or not that I didn't understand, I just didn't care about who these people were.
I don't think they made you care about them, though.
Well, none of the characters are well drawn out. Why should I care if they start
They all
dropping
have
dead?
one characteristic to them. That's all you know them as. Oh,
Well,
she's the nurse.
She's the nurse. She's the communist sympathizer.
Here's the former
maid.
flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't.
So it's not an interesting cast of characters.
I thought the same thing, considering that the first murder doesn't happen until about an hour into the movie.
Right. There's a lot of setup.
Yeah, but we didn't get to care about the characters. You'd think with that like, okay, we're going to really flesh out these characters and build it up so that when the action starts happening, you're like, oh, I know a lot about this guy.
Right.
And you didn't. It was weird to me how they did that.
No, there's two long scenes at the beginning of the film. The one scene during World War I, where we find out why Poirot has his mustache.
Right.
I thought I was in the wrong movie when that thing comes up. It was like, was this 1917? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then there's the long scene in the jazz club, which, again, I mean, interesting in the sense of, there's some good music and some little dirty dancing, but it really doesn't advance the story. We meet
Armie Hammer for the first time, and I love how his girlfriend Jackie describes him. He's like, yeah, he's tall, and he's kind of just doesn't have a whole lot going on. I was like, well, that's Armie Hammer to a T, because I think Armie Hammer is a boring actor and B, a terrible human being. And so watching him in this, I was like, oh yeah, he's not a good actor, and I don't like seeing him because he's a horrible person.
Well, So
allegedly, I guess.
So you weren't rooting for his character?
No. Okay. Well, I was not.
I thought
rooting
there was
for him.
a little. To be honest, I thought the movie gained a little bit of traction as we got towards the end, and the great mind of Hercule Poirot, which I think I say differently every time I say it.
I do. I like it.
He sort of starts to unravel the things, and he's
Right,
interrogating
I mean,
the people.
You're getting that, yeah.
And that's
he's
got to
get everyone into one room at some point,
right?
And really start disseminating
the murderer is in this room.
I wish they would have done more with the characters because a lot of them just felt like window dressing.
Right.
Through a large chunk of this movie, I think the cast was really uneven, in quality. There was a lot of the cast that I just didn't think were up to it. Russell Brand was just, I don't know why he was in this.
He wasn't given much to do.
Yeah, I didn't care for him. I thought Annette Bening, who's a great actress, I thought she was just overacting everything.
Yeah.
She was just way over the top with it. I like Kenneth Branagh in this role. I think he's interesting in this, but he is like edging on being campy with it.
But I don't think it's I don't think that's a choice. I just think that's how it comes off.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't blown away by this movie. Of course, you're going to build to this moment of him finally letting everyone know. He barks out his deductions and announces the murder and all that. Problem is, I had a pretty solid clue really early in the movie on who the murderer was. I kind of had an idea. I was like, oh, it's probably going to go this way. And it played out that way.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with that. But, I mean, I think the movie did an okay job of sort of getting me thinking about other possibilities.
Well, they drop red herrings.
Yeah,
but
so
also,
I
like,
fell for a couple of
if
those.
I don't care about this character, is he going to be the big reveal? Whatever.
Right.
Here's the thing, and I'm not going to say what it was, but the final the culmination of all of this at the end, when we announce the murder and everything is disseminated, was a massive groaner to me, and how that all resolved itself at the end, I thought was just kind of laughable to me. There's a moment there with a toy that has been shown a couple of times that I thought was pretty bad. I don't want to ruin anything, but I think the scenery is beautiful. Gal Gadot is beautiful. I think it's a decent mystery anchored by Kenneth Branagh, but
Yeah, there's a lot of good-looking people in the movie for sure.
nothing to write home about.
Okay, fair enough.
What did you end up giving Death on the Nile?
I think I gave Death on the Nile a grand total of 2.5 stars.
Hey, that checks out.
Yeah.
Nice
That's what
job.
it says on the screen right there.
Yeah, I was just above. I gave it 3 stars. It's fine. It's enjoyable enough. It's not gonna blow you away as far as murder mystery goes. If you enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express, you'll probably enjoy this as well. But now it's time for a little bit of love and romance.
That's why you got me here,
Here
right?
we go. Play the music.
All right, let's do this thing.
Let's go to what else we have on the marquee.
Well, we're going to talk about Marry Me, I believe. Yes, here we go. Marry Me. Marry Me stars Jennifer Lopez, who also serves as a producer on this film. She plays the pop superstar Kat Valdez. Kat Valdez and her boyfriend, a fellow singing star Bastian, played by singer Maluma.
Good. Okay.
Have great plans. They're going to sing their brand new single, Marry Me, at a concert in New York, and then they're going to, you know what they're going to do? They're going to get married right there on the stage. What a publicity stunt that will be.
Amazing.
But wait, what's this? What's going on? Right before the big onstage ceremony, footage leaks online of Bastian playing kissy face with one of Kat Valdez's assistants. And of course, everybody in the world sees this at the same time, because in the universe that this movie takes place, the only things that matter are Kat Valdez and whatever is happening to Kat Valdez at any particular time. So what happens next is Kat Valdez, played by Jennifer Lopez, decides instead of marrying, we're seeing it on the screen right now, instead of marrying the two-timing Bastian, that she will marry a random dude in the audience. Now that dude turns out to be Charlie Gilbert, a divorced math teacher who was there with his daughter, who he is struggling to maintain a relationship with, and his best friend, high school guidance counselor Parker Debs, played by Sarah Silverman. Of course, a random marriage between two strangers from different walks of life can't work, can it?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, if you don't know the answer to that question, you apparently have never seen romantic comedy. There are a few things to like in Marry Me, and I think most of those things have to do with Owen Wilson, who is somewhat endearing in his role as a normal guy caught up in something kind of crazy. His scenes with his daughter, played by Chloe Coleman, I thought were especially charming, and was really the only relationship in this movie that I cared about. I will admit that there were a couple of scenes during which J-Lo and Owen had some chemistry, but every time that this movie gained any momentum, we had to endure basically a J-Lo music video of some kind that just kind of got me mad at the movie again. The ending did have its moments, I thought, but Marry Me, to me, plays like a J-Lo vanity project that just could not end quickly enough. And look, the trailer's still going, and I'm still talking.
I was shocked by how bad the music was in this movie. Outside of maybe one song, I was really shocked by how pedestrian the songs were in this movie.
Yeah, they were pretty.
I was like, wow, I thought this would have been launching something for her.
And what was interesting was, she makes a big. The Jennifer Lopez character makes a big deal about how she writes all her music, and she's agonizing at the piano to get the words out, and so then it got me thinking, like, well, does Jennifer Lopez write her own music?
No.
And that's why I
Never.
watched the credits. And yeah, every one of these songs was like written by like 30 people, and just like paint by numbers.
There's a quote. There's a line early in the movie, in the midpoint of the movie, where J-Lo asks Owen Wilson, "Is this smart?" He's like, "I think we left smart 6 weeks ago." I was like, "Boy, have you!" Like, man, it's a premise that is like hardly believable at all. It's kind of your reverse Cinderella, where he gets plucked out of nowhere to go and live this fabulous life, and it's a life that you'd think everyone would love. Suddenly, I'm famous. The world knows me. But he sees it for what it is. Like, this is all a sham. This is all stupid. I just want my regular life. I care about my students and my daughter, and this stuff is getting in the way of that for me.
Right.
And I think also, just because he's a regular guy, we have to assume he's also a good guy, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's like, oh, celebrity, evil. Regular guy, good guy. Like,
I don't know about that. I don't think the Jennifer Lopez character is made out to be evil.
Not her character. the celebrity culture, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
most of
that's-
this movie is constantly resetting about celebrity culture and the social media. And then at one point it's like, we're going to be confronted with, can he make her can he find the regular girl inside of her?
Right,
But can she make him a social media star?
Right.
You
They
know,
give
this is
each
the big-
other a challenge. Can you do without your chefs and your managers and
Yeah.
your hangers-on? And yeah.
But I like how he kind of realizes quickly, like, the celebrity is a veneer, and that it's not real and it's all fake. I like that. I feel like they went for this message though about how strange celebrity is, and almost like tiptoed towards parodying the genre of rom-com with the celebrity status. Also weird that J-Lo playing a character who really echoes herself. She talks about, I've had all these marriages. One of them was to a nobody that didn't last very long. It's like, this is kind of you. This is your life.
Yeah, I didn't find her a likable character really at all.
I don't feel like the movie said anything about what it was presenting, though, about like the celebrity culture and social media. It just like talked about it, but didn't really say anything about it.
Well, it's intrusive, Jameson.
Right. This is part of J-Lo's existence, but I thought it was kind of a shallow film.
Kind of.
We try to make Kat relatable by having her do regular things. Like, it's like People Magazine or InStyle, like, celebrities are just like us. Look at her. She's going to a school and teaching kids how to dance. Like,
Right.
great. Awesome.
I mean, it was totally predictable, but I thought the scenes where she tried to integrate into his sort of everyday humdrum life were, they worked a little bit better than some of the other scenes in the movie, I thought.
Yeah. I'll say this. I was expecting this to be, like, cringeworthy terrible.
Okay.
Seeing this trailer over and over for months now, I was dreading seeing
You got the
this
song
movie.
in your head?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was actually it was a standard rom-com.
Yeah.
I don't think it did anything to rise above. I don't think it was terrible. I think their chemistry was fine. I agree with
Yeah.
you. I love the moments between Owen Wilson and his daughter Lou.
I thought those were the best.
I thought those were the
yeah.
sweetest. I like John Bradley as her assistant. I thought he was kind of funny when he would pop in as J-Lo's assistant. He was fine.
Kind of like a poor man's Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, but I think J-Lo and Owen Wilson worked at times, so I wasn't appalled by this movie as I expected.
I thought the kids, the math kids, were cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I liked the dog.
Dog's great.
Yeah, the dog was good.
Owen
Tank.
Wilson loves having dogs in movies.
Yeah, sure.
All right, marry
Owen
me.
Wilson's a weird-looking dude, though.
He is. Well,
weird-looking dude.
he likes he goes with that. He's like, I'm
The
not
other thing
fixing my nose. I'm not getting a haircut.
The other thing I thought was, did you have any thought about the fact that, there's a scene where the manager's talking to Owen Wilson about what he's gotten himself into, and she says she's north of 35.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. Jennifer Lopez is 52.
Yeah.
That's way north of 35.
Yeah.
And the Bastian character, the guy who plays Bastian, is only 28.
Right.
So you flip that, and I think some people would have had
Oh yeah.
issues with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Owen Wilson is also a man of a certain age, so
Well, they
find something.
match chronologically.
they both watched the same TV shows growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, marry me.
But can I say one other thing?
One more thing.
Didn't you find it weird that everybody in the freaking world seemed to care about
Yes.
this Cat Valdez
That was the
character?
big thing.
And the entertainment industry is way too fragmented now for that to happen. I mean, not
everyone's
any-
basically getting push notifications on their phone when
About
everything
everything-
happens about Cat Valdez.
Right.
Like the video comes out on like TMZ, and suddenly every phone in the arena lights up at once.
I thought, wow, Jennifer Lopez has a large ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What'd you end up giving "Marry Me," sir?
I think I gave it 2 stars.
Oh, once again, I come in just a little bit. I gave it 2.5. Standard rom-com, nothing special, but surprisingly not terrible. If you want to weep, I don't know if this is the place to go.
You wept?
I don't know. I'm a robot. I don't weep.
Okay.
All right.
Poor Sarah Silverman. She was totally wasted.
She was wasted. All right, next on our streaming spotlight this week, we go to Amazon Prime Video for I Want You Back from director Jason Oxley. Stars Jenny Slate as a girl named Emma and Charlie Day as Peter. The film opens with both Emma and Peter being dumped unceremoniously by their significant others. Neither is handling it really well. They work in the same office building. They discover each other sobbing in a stairwell, which we see right here. And they kind of mourn together, especially as they discover that their former flames have moved on to new people. And soon, a plan is hatched, and it's a bit of a strangers on a train scenario, where Emma is going to go and try and seduce the new man who is dating Peter's ex, Anne, who is played by Gina Rodriguez, thus breaking up that relationship. She's going to go seduce her new boyfriend, Logan, played by Manny Jacinto. And meanwhile, Peter is going to go and befriend his ex, Emma's Emma's ex, Noah, played by Scott Eastwood, and break up their relationship so that both of their former significant others are once again single, and now we can swoop in and make everything right again. And I think the strength of this film is really in the two leads, Jenny Slate, Charlie Day. I really enjoy both of them in pretty much everything they do. They play the messy dumpies really well. Jenny Slate does this character really well. She kind of did a similar character in Obvious Child a few years back. But they're characters that don't have their lives together. They have fun chemistry together, I think. And I enjoyed a lot of the tertiary characters in this movie, like Logan, the boyfriend to Charlie's ex, the
middle school
drama teacher. I thought
Yeah.
he was kind of funny when he would pop up. There's also a middle schooler named Trevor that Emma kind of has this tete-a-tete with for a while, and then kind of has a really sweet moment with, and kind of finds her maturity through him. I thought that was a really sweet moment.
I thought that was good too.
And I think that Jenny Slate really has a sweetness to her, a real vulnerability to her in this. There's a great Suddenly Seymour scene in here that I thought was fun. I'm a sucker for that.
Sure.
And I found a lot of laughs and charm in the first half of this film, especially as they let Charlie Day and Jenny Slate kind of do their things. For me, it was in the final act where things kind of fell off precipitously for me in how they decided to try and wrap everything up. I thought it got real messy and real stupid.
Interesting.
But okay, I paused this movie at one point, watching with my wife. I paused this movie at one point, thought we were near the end, and I said, how is there still 25 more minutes? What could they possibly do with 25 more minutes? And I didn't think they did anything. I felt like it just stretched on for no reason.
Yeah, I felt this movie was overlong as well.
Yeah.
What I think I agree with a lot of you. I'm curious to see what ranking you gave it. But I started out really liking this movie. Like you said, I really enjoyed the Charlie Day and Jenny Slate chemistry. I thought they worked really well together. And I thought even the scenes of them like singing karaoke, which we've seen in 100 other movies, I still thought that was really charming. And they're getting drunk together and drowning in their sorrows. But then I think what this movie did was what a lot of romantic comedies do is it has to find a way to keep the characters apart, because if they're together, we're in the audience.
Realize they should be together.
They should be together.
So you have to tease it just a little bit.
Right. So it breaks these characters apart, and they go on these plot tangents that I think work to some degree, but don't work as well as when the two of them are together. I thought the Little Shop of Horrors stuff worked pretty well. I thought the scene of, or the part of the film where the Charlie Day character is hanging out with the Scott Eastwood character, and they end up going out with some high school girls, not knowing that they're high school girls, and Pete Davidson shows up.
Yeah.
There were some laughs in that.
And
That was
I'll
pretty
say
good.
Scott Eastwood, a guy who I normally look at as like wallpaper paste, because I just feel like he has no charisma. I thought this was like the most charisma I've seen from
I liked him in
which
this.
isn't saying a lot, but I think he was fine.
But then there was a whole subplot with Jenny Slate and what's his character? With the teacher.
The teacher, Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
And Anne.
And Anne.
Having a threesome or not having a threesome. That went on way too long, and that really for me derailed the movie.
Well, and I really like Gina Rodriguez. I think she's a really sweet. I love watching her, and I felt like they made her character unnecessarily unlikable in this movie. Like they painted her as like a prude and a real drag on Charlie, and I was like, she didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like we really paint her as a terrible person. She didn't do anything wrong in this.
So for me, I thought the movie kind of got off the rails like an hour into it or so, like the middle act, and then I thought the end was okay. Although I would have liked the ending was very brief. That final scene is very brief. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that.
We could have trimmed some out of there, kind of button this up in a better way.
So I love the Jamie Gertz. That was a good scene.
Yeah, that's right. My wife was like, "That's Jamie Gertz."
Yeah, hint of chicken. That was a good scene.
That was good. All right, well then let's get on with it. What do you have for your score for I Want You Back?
I believe I gave it 2.5 stars.
There we go, 2.5, and right on schedule. I gave it 3 stars.
So every movie you gave
I'm
a
a half
half
star
star
above.
ahead. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have our system down. So.
Okay, good to know.
Real quick, I gave you a little forewarning.
You did.
Without a lot of time. Rom-coms, I don't know if you love them, you hate them. Do you have any?
rom-com is great.
Do you have any that are your favorites? Like
Sure.
A quick, Mount Rushmore or whatever. Something
I got a whole list here.
Okay, tell me about
I got like 30 of them.
No, we don't have time for that.
One of my favorite movies of all time happens to be a rom-com, and that's Say Anything with your John Cusack and your Ione Skye.
Yep.
Late 80s, 89. I gave her my heart and she gave me a pen. Again, I know it's problematic to talk about this individual nowadays, but Annie Hall is one of my all-time favorite rom-coms. You got Moonstruck from the 80s, Cher, Nicolas Cage. Modern Romance, the second Albert Brooks movie. That's a great film. A little-known film from the 80s with Martin Short and Annette O'Toole called Cross My Heart. I don't know if you've seen that.
Never.
That's an underrated gem, I would say.
I'll check it out.
And then you got When Harry Met Sally. You got Bull Durham. Even Broadcast News, I think you could read as a rom-com.
Okay.
So that's my list. Did you make up a little list?
I have a little
for
list,
yourself?
just kind of top of the head. Princess Bride, I love. Great one. Moonrise Kingdom, I think, is a great rom-com for a younger crowd. A newer one, Sing Street, I really enjoyed, about a young boy trying to discover his first love.
Okay.
A different Cusack movie, I do love Save Anything. Grosse Point Blank, I think, is underrated.
It's got Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. The Wedding Singer, I think the best of Sandler's pairings with Drew Barrymore.
Not saying much, but okay.
And then one that nobody really talks about that I love, One Fine Day. It's really the one sappy rom-com that I love. George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer. I think it's great.
Okay.
And it's kind of sappy, but gets me going. So, it's good. At least you're not a rom-com hater.
No.
What's the one with Martin Short again? I'm gonna look this up.
It's called Cross My Heart.
All right, I'm gonna find this.
It's good.
All right, let's take a look ahead at what is coming soon. The weekend of February 25th. We have 3 movies appearing on the marquee that week. The first one is a film called Butter. It is about a young obese boy that everyone calls Butter, who attempts to eat himself to death live online. How will others react to this? May surprise you. That's playing in theaters. We also have Studio 666. It's only 66. I promise
we just lost the
We lost the
6.
6. Foo Fighters move into a haunted house. That's right, the Foo Fighters move into a haunted house to record their new 10th album. It's a haunted house, though, and we're going to find out how Dave Grohl and gang react to the horrors that befall them. And then lastly, we have a film that has been pushed back a couple of times. It is Cyrano. Peter Dinklage tackling the well-trodden territory of the story of Cyrano.
Do I have to see that?
That's the week you're going to be with me again.
Man.
Better believe it.
Roxanne's a good movie, too.
It is.
Speaking of Cyrano.
I know.
Okay.
So that's the weekend of February 25th.
Or Splash.
All right. Before we move any further, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters. The Palace here in Sun Prairie, thank you for sponsoring this program. Thank you for providing a dream lounger for me to sit in and relax for a comfortable couple hours. We always appreciate it. Jeff loves a dream lounger. Next week, I am going to be talking about films such as Uncharted with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Also, the movie Dog with Channing Tatum and a dog. I also have a film called The Worst Person in the World, and perhaps more. And you'll have to tune in to find out who's sitting next to me for that one. It's going to be a good time. These all sounded really interesting to you. It's Channing Tatum and a dog next week. Tune in.
I'm there.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir, for joining me once again.
It's always my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
And I'll have you back in a couple weeks.
That's what I heard.
It's going to be great. You're going to be talking about Cyrano.
And Studio 66.
Studio 66. We're going to find that third 6.
Okay,
before that comes along.
We'll do it.
But until next week, bring it back to me. Hey, I'm Jameson.
And hey, I'm Jeff.
Thanks for watching.